Hey there, clan, and welcome back to another DM's vlog. This one is going to be about my campaign that's been run in my own setting after the previous session, where a little recap: the party had managed to track down Doctor Nova and had decided to try and negotiate with her a little bit. And Doctor Nova has basically, the last session before this one ended with the Doctor Nova revealing that she had basically infected 20 people with the siphon ore, which, for anyone who's just catching on to this one, is basically an ore that seems to absorb magic in some instances. And she basically says that these people are basically walking bombs, that if they absorb enough magic, they go boom and cause a significant amount of damage. In fact, I actually have my notes for them here, if I can find the right page. Yep, it's these things are fucking nasty. If they absorb up to 7th level spell slots, there's a 50% chance of them exploding, dealing a total of 12d10 plus 8 force damage. Yeah, these things are basically walking bombs. And so, thanks to the paladin of the group, Zeon, being able to convince her to drop her guard a little bit, the rogue of the group, Xanos, was able to get a sneak attack off from her. And sadly, I gave her a magic hidden blade made from mithril that I said, if you get a surprise round off on someone, you get a critical hit. Because I'm an idiot. And she dealt about half of Dr. Nova's damage. And that's where the session ended. So I had to think of what was going to happen. What would Dr. Nova's mindset be? And my mindset is that she sees herself as being outnumbered, almost dead at this point, and pretty much her main objective was to fucking run. She is an artificer, and I was using the D&D Beyond version of the artificer, the one that they have officially released, I believe. I have her character sheet here, because I did print off her character sheet, but I don't know if I have it here. But yeah, she is an artificer, and her main goal was to escape, so she did summon an Ice Elemental Meridon, which is basically an upgraded Ice Elemental with armor and weapons. Completely forgetting that they had access to fire magic. But yeah, so she had an Ice Meridon, and she also released some black puddings that she had captive as well. So there was a bit of a stack, but the party was also split. There were 3 or 4 of them in the basement, and the rest of them were upstairs. Now, sadly, one of our players couldn't make the last session due to personal reasons, so I had to run them as well, and they were the cleric of the group. And I rolled really well that session. It basically went right into initiative, and most of the enemies, Dr. Nova, the Ice Meridon, the Black Puddings, and the Drainer Scarecrows, I think I called them. I think I called them the Drainer Scarecrows. I think I called them the Draining Scarecrows, if memory serves me. Basically modified scarecrows from the players from the monster manual, which are relatively weak, but I modified them to be a bit more dangerous. More dangerous than I initially thought. So yeah, I rolled surprisingly well on initiative, even for the cleric who I was running, one of the player characters. And I think I rolled, most of them rolled 18, 19s for initiative, and it was ridiculous. I believe everyone else in the party did roll relatively okay. But it basically came down to, if Dr. Nova could get away quick enough, she would basically just book it. But I neglected to realise and keep forgetting that Xanos, the rogue, who's playing a swashbuckler and also has the alert feat, currently has a plus 12, maybe 13 to initiative. So they were pretty much always going first. Thankfully, I had given Dr. Nova a shield, which she had panicked. It basically burned through pretty much all of her first level spell slots using that, because the party were rolling surprisingly well against her, and Xanos almost got another blow on her, but she was able to get shield up and protect herself. And she basically used one of her artificer abilities to basically teleport 15 feet where she had previously walked. So basically, Dr. Nova's plan, as soon as she had her turn, which I think was either after Zeon or before Zeon, one of the two, she just teleported out there. Like, literally 15 feet, teleported and sprinted up and actually locked the entrance to the laboratory to try and give her an extra chance to try and run away. That was pretty much what was going on downstairs. Basically, the Ice Merodon versus Zeon. Black Puddings were caught in a couple of hassle, but I was rolling like shit for the Black Puddings, so they didn't hit, and no one used lightning magic, so they didn't split. It was an interesting endeavour to try and balance it all out a little bit, just because of the fact that I had so much shit to run. I put way too many enemies on the board, and I fucked up royally with that, because I kept forgetting stuff and all that stuff, so I made a few mistakes. But the party upstairs were having difficulty, because I made those scarecrows a little too powerful, I think. Basically, I had modified them to have a few extra hit points, do a wee bit more damage, and also they were built by Dr. Nova, so she'd incorporated some of the siphon ore into them and made them into draining scarecrows. Basically, if they successfully hit, I believe it was either a Constitution saving throw or a spell casting ability saving throw to see if you can resist them drawing the magic out of you. So if you were a spellcaster, you lost 1d4 spell slots starting at first and then going up if you had no first level spell slots left. And I was rolling pretty much 3s and 4s, so the cleric of the group lost pretty much all their first level spell slots within the first round or two of combat, and I got them down to like 3 hit points, which I was running, and I felt really bad. But yeah, the party did eventually roll well enough to basically try and take care of some of the stuff, but then Dr. Nova had activated one last trap before she left, which was 3 fireballs point blank into the laboratory to basically destroy as much of her equipment and research as possible. It was basically a kill switch just in case shit happened. The party just happened to be there. Sadly, they all made their save. I believe Xanos is the rogue, so she was able to get evasion, so she took no damage from 3 fireballs. And Zeon has Shieldmaster, which allows them to basically take no damage whatsoever if they use their reaction on the saving throw, I believe. So yeah, I didn't deal any damage with 3 fireballs except to the Bard, who made their saving throw and is also a tiefling, so took half damage. So 3 fireballs kind of went nowhere, sadly. I think I did roll really well on the damage. It was somewhere ridiculously high. But they managed to all survive that. The Ice Merodon was obliterated. The Black Puddings obliterated. Everything in that lab was pretty much obliterated. And then I made some checks behind the table to see if I could roll well enough to see what would survive. Because I did have potions in there. There were some equipment stuff. There was some stuff that they might have been able to find. So they did get a few things, some potions, a health. I think they got a couple of potions, a spell scroll of arcane haste, which I'll get to in a moment. Dr. Nova, thankfully, using the remainder of her shield spells, was able to actually get away, but not before I took down the Ranger Sealoud with the Drainer Scorpions, because I rolled, I think, 1 or 2 criticals on him, and these things had mindless, so they basically just waited, and I actually killed Sealoud. Now, thankfully the Drainer Scarecrows didn't drain any more of the Cleric's spell slots, so while I was doing him, I had him run over. He had Revivify ready, he had the diamonds ready to spend it, so he did manage to Revivify Sealoud, but not until something happened, but I'll get to that in a second. So overall, they were able to take care of the situation relatively well. They rolled well enough in damage, they rolled well enough in saves, but sadly, just because of the initiative rolls, Dr. Nova was able to get away. She was able to fly away, use invisibility and a flying ability to piece the fuck out, and they currently are going to try and track her down. There was some tension between Zeon and Xanos, because Zeon's playing the Paladin and he was like, yeah, fuck this shit. There are 20 people out there who are possibly going to die and cause significant damage, and we have no information on it. And Xanos was very much like, it pissed me off. So a little bit of party tension there, but we've been playing long enough that it makes sense for the characters to do something like that. And Yeah, so they're going to have to. Their plan at the moment is they've got a choice to track down Dr. Nova, figure out some stuff. They were able to salvage some notes to basically determine what the symptoms of the ore after a long period of time were. So they might be able to find other people. It's a bit of a coin flip. We'll find out. But the interesting thing that happened is that the player who's playing Sealoud asked me what did they see when they died, and I decided it was pretty much a little bit of an improv to fuck with them a little bit, and basically have the mind flayer, the Illithid Lich, that is kind of became their main antagonist for this mission, for this part of the story. Basically stop his soul from passing on and have a chat with them and mess with him. He doesn't know if he's lying or telling the truth when he says that his animal companion has been skinned and is currently on the back of a pit fiend. He doesn't know if he's telling the truth or doesn't know if he's lying. I gotta love Illithid Liches. But they made a deal, and the deal was that if Sealoud can best a bone claw, which they don't know what it is exactly, they might need to do a couple of checks, but for those in the agenda, they might know what that is. I'm evil. A bone claw is going to be coming after him, and if he can successfully kill this bone claw, he will have a shot at greed. So there's a bone claw coming for Sealoud. He's been marked by greed, as he's called himself. That there's a bone claw coming for him, and we'll see what happens, because that's going to be lovely. I'll see how well the party roll to determine if they can figure out what a bone claw is. It is a monster from I think it's either in Volos or the Tome of Foes. But it's a nasty little creature that I don't want to say exactly what it is here, but I will break it down a little bit next DM vlog. But then we get to the little bit of attention, since there are a group of soldiers coming to basically help a little bit. There's also the farmhand family that are also infected with this stuff, the siphon ore, who are kind of thankfully not turned, but they are a bit scared. But they did come into possession of one of my first custom spells I've done, called Arcane Haste. It was one made by Dr. Nova, and it is basically an arcane version of Haste. It basically allows the user to cast a spell as well as, I think it basically, if I remember correctly, do I have my notes on it? I don't remember off the top of my head if I wrote down the exact components of it, or if I have the right notes, because that is always the joys of a DM when you have like 50,000 notes and you're like, I don't know which is where. That's city notes, that's something else. But yeah, basically the siphon, basically the way Arcane Haste works is that instead of giving you a attack action, a dash action, or anything like that, it gives you the ability to cast another spell on your turn, and basically hold a concentration spell for one additional round. So that's kind of how I played it a little bit. It still works very much similar to Haste, +2 AC, advantage on dex saving throws, and double your speed. But yeah, that's something that they have now, and whether or not they'll use it is up to that, because they don't have a wizard in the group. They only have a bard who can't use it, because you can use it, but you can't copy it because it is a not a ritual spell. But yeah, so that was an interesting session. It was definitely a wee bit of a reminder of maybe I shouldn't put so much on the table, because as much fun as it is like putting them up against these creatures and making it challenging for them, having to track so many initiative orders is definitely difficult at times for me. It's something I'm hopefully going to get better at over time, and I'm definitely interested to see what's going to happen next session, because our next session is actually going to be a extended session. We try and do these every few months, where it's going to be like an 8-hour long session. So I have a lot of prep work to do for that, and I have a lot of fun to have with that. So the next DM vlog for that hopefully will be a little bit longer, since I have to break down some more stuff, and I might even try and make sure I have the actual notes for it, because I keep forgetting to actually organize my notes. But yeah, I'm definitely going to, hopefully you will look forward to the next DM vlog. I am definitely enjoying this session, and definitely, hopefully, maybe next time I'll actually have a character be dead? We'll find out, I guess. But I'm having fun, and I'm going to roll up some characters, and I'm actually going to be using some stuff from the DMs Guild, actually. There's a couple of stuff that I have actually managed to purchase and I've had a little look over, and I'm going to start maybe incorporating a little bit of into there. And maybe at some point I'll go over some of the stuff that I've bought from the DMs Guild just to show you this is what I like and it's actually really good. Maybe I'll even upload something at some point if I'm feeling crazy. But other than that, hope you enjoyed this. I'll catch you all later. Ciao for now.